Hey, I'm Madrigal, and I love my kids, but nothing. Because you know why? I'm done, suckers. It's over. I did it.
They're adults.
From Wondery, I'm Chris Garcia.
I'm Megan Gailey.
And I'm Karen Brown.
And this is I Love My Kid, but...
That's what we look like. Zombies. That's what we look like.
Folks, welcome to the show. Welcome to I Love My Kid, but this is a show where we will never, ever tell you how to raise your child because we don't know.
We have no
And we
idea.
don't want anyone to tell us.
I am here, of course, with my wonderful and delightful hosts, Chris Garcia and Megan Gailey. Hi, guys.
Hi.
How's everybody feeling?
It's a little bit of a wild morning, but we're getting there. We're doing all right.
You've been up since when?
So, I don't know. Last night?
That's great.
Last night.
You haven't slept.
Do you have a
No,
final
I slept.
today?
I know. It seems like it. I'm like, wow. It seems like college time. No, Sunny was just up a lot.
Yeah.
She was coughing all night and in and out. And then she slept in late, and so my morning got started late. And it's been
Classic.
perfect.
What a delight. We're very excited in the show tonight.
Tonight, it
We're
feels
va-
like one long day sometimes. Doesn't
Here it
it?
is. It's tonight.
You're born, and
Tonight
then it's a long day.
on the show, Al Madrigal.
Truly one of the best.
Yeah.
Really comedy hero of mine,
Yeah.
I would say.
Did he come up in same sign?
Yeah, he
same
came up in
crowd?
San Francisco before I was there, but he was one of the first comedians I ever saw. And as soon as I saw him, I was like, I'd never seen a fellow Latino comedian like that.
Oh yeah.
And he's kind of like laid the groundwork for a new generation of comics.
Yeah.
And he's become a mentor of mine. I love him so much. And he's talked about being a father his entire career. So I'm very excited. to
Even
have him on
before
the
he
show.
had kids?
No, he was a dad and then became a comic.
Well, yeah, because
What? He was a dad first.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
I
was a
didn't
dad
know
first.
that.
I've only had like 3 conversations with him, and one was Olive was like, I don't know, 6 months old or something. He's like, get her into volleyball. Volleyball's the way to go. And I was like, okay. And he's like, don't go soccer, don't go football. You got to go to volleyball because nobody's doing volleyball. And then she can play it the whole time, and then she's gonna get a scholarship. And I'm like, hey, she's 6 months old. I'm not ready to talk about scholarships for college right now. Al.
Volleyball is very popular. Like, I don't know.
Hey, we're in Southern California. The
Yeah.
only place they play volleyball.
Indoor, outdoor, different kinds of surfaces.
I am, as a sports guy, I was just like, I guess volleyball is the sport no one plays.
Get your daughter in the shortest shorts possible and then send her into the world.
We're going to be actually talking with Al about honesty and communication, and how do you decide exactly how to raise your kids? Like, how do you decide your approach to it? And, of course, illustrating this is a little story from Circle Time, where we tell you a story about our parenting lives to make you feel better about your parenting lives. And today, I believe, Chris, you're going to be giving us your story.
I got the story today.
All right.
I do. So, maybe like 2 weeks ago, Sunny and my mom and I go to breakfast. It's really nice. We're where she lives. We go down to her. We sit down for breakfast.
So you're at your mom's house.
I'm at my mom's. No, we go
her
out to a
neighborhood.
diner. We go out to
Okay.
a diner in her neighborhood, and we're hanging out, and our food's there and everything, and we need napkins. So I go up, and I leave the table for a moment.
Such a dad move.
Yeah,
I'm going to get up from the table. I'm going to go in the kitchen.
Yeah, I go right back there. I'm like, just hand me these. And I usually have 1,000 napkins in my pockets, but I didn't that day. And so I go up and I grab a whole stack of napkins, and I look back, and my mom is teaching Sunny. She's taught Sunny how to play the drums with her silverware. Straight timbale style, Tito Puente, just like... And my mom is so fun, and she is so sweet, and she's so lovely, and Sunny loves her, and I love seeing them together because it's so playful. So my mom's like, "Ba-ga-da-ba," and Sunny's just going animal style from
Yeah.
the Muppet. She's like,
Yeah.
ba 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 ba, and then all of a sudden it becomes too loud, and my mom goes, "No,
Yeah, of course.
stop it. if you bang, the lady's gonna throw us out. The lady's gonna kick us out. The waitress lady's gonna come here and she's gonna kick us out. And then Sunny's just like confused and she keeps on banging. And I'm like, Mom, whoa. And I was like, Sunny, can you stop banging? And she's not banging, but I was like, Mom, what you just did is that you just showed Sunny how to do something she didn't know was wrong that for some reason you could do, but she can't do. And then you told her that this lady is gonna come and throw us out into the street, which she isn't. So you created a fake hollow consequence that's not going to happen, and it hasn't happened, so she's going to keep on banging on the drums forever. And I'm like trying to take these away from her. I'm like, Mom, I'm just trying my best to like not hurt my mom's feelings,
Yeah, of course,
but I'm trying
right.
to communicate.
But a lot
with
of
her.
stuff is, of course, coming up for you from your childhood as well, right?
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just trying to like, it's really hard to create like a foundation of like honesty and trust with your kid. And the way I communicate with Sunny, I just like to talk to her directly and not come up with these fake consequences, And she goes, oh my God. Oh my God, modern parents. Ugh. And I'm like, oh, and it did bring up stuff from when I was a kid because my parents, and maybe it's a cultural thing because we're Latin, or maybe it was just my parents.
It's not.
They'd use scare tactics or
Yeah,
cautionary
your face
tales.
is going to get stuck like that.
Yeah.
They're starving children in Africa.
Yeah.
That's the white. That's what the whites were doing.
My dad.
I mean, just the whole idea of hell, like, was always constantly like, hell is right around the corner for you if you say, like, fuck.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, if I say fuck, I burn for eternity because God wants me to burn for eternity for using the word fuck.
So then you either say the word fuck and you're anxious, like you're going to go hell, or you say fuck and then you don't go to hell right away. So you keep on saying fuck and you don't know what the truth is.
Yeah.
You're like, don't know what the truth is. When I was a kid, when I was in high school, my dad thought I was smoking pot because I was. And he says, I smoked marijuana one time when I was your age, one time, and I went crazy. Me volví loco. I jumped over a fence and had sex with a 40-year-old woman.
What?
And I was like,
sounds
what?
awesome.
I know. Is this a cautionary tale or a goal? Or is this, And
Like,
so,
this is not deterring me in any way.
not at all. I mean, I still smoke pot and I still have not had sex with a 40-year-old woman, but maybe in 2
getting
years.
close.
Yeah, 2 years. We're 2 years away. Val's 2 years away. So it's like confusing, and I don't want to do things that way. And so one thing that we're doing with Sunny right now is that she's sucking her thumbs, and the dentist has said it's time to stop. And it's been really hard to have her not suck her thumbs. So we've been trying to talk to her in a really kind of
When you say thumbs, is it double thumbs in?
oh yeah, she's like
It's double thumbs?
It's like she's wearing one of those helmets with two beer cans in it with the straws that go into her mouth.
Both
but she
thumbs?
got
It's double
she's
thumbs.
double fisting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, she is soothing.
Yeah.
Also, it's like every joke is this guy.
Or she does one finger on. She grabs her ear and her thumb, and it's so cute. And
She's helping herself.
she's
like, that's the
soothing
thing.
herself.
And that is the thing. Because
It's
like you
good.
want self-soothing
Until it's bad.
until
Yeah.
all of a sudden the self-soothing is a thumb, because then it's like you're pushing your teeth.
And it's like, do we need to listen to a dentist? Like, I guess, but like, not really.
But then it's valid, and he's like, I've noticed her mouth is like it could change shape, and one of her teeth is
no.
kind of. So I'm like, okay, that's a thing. So I
Right,
try
of
to tell her,
course.
hey, the dentist says it's bad, or sometimes
using
she's like,
fear
I'm a big
tactics.
girl, and I'm like, big kids sometimes don't suck their thumbs, and just like trying to talk in a way that's not like the El Diablo's going to come get you.
No, you want to be like, Sonny, your teeth are going to be jacked up and you're going to have no friends.
Yeah, but in a nicer way.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to get her not to suck her thumb. It's been a little bit of an ordeal. And so we tell the lady, one of the nice ladies at daycare, and she's like, I got it. And so this is what the lady at daycare comes. It's the kooky lady. And she goes, okay, this is what I told her. I told her that if she sucks her thumb, her skin will grow these big bubbles, and they will explode, and they will pop, and she'll have these ouchies. And I'm like, maybe not. Like, maybe that's not the right way to do it. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I look at Sunny, her hands are like out, and I'm like, oh my God, she's been traumatized. I'm on the way home. I'm driving home from daycare. I usually call my mom on the drive home, and I'm like, Mommy, the lady at daycare said if Sunny sucks her thumb, her hands will grow these leper-like lesions that'll explode. And she's like, perfect. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. You manipulate children with fear. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do it like that. And she's like, how do you do it? And I'm like, oh, I just tell her that the doctor says that if she sucks her thumb, it could change the shape of her mouth. She's like, whatever. And I was like, what'd you do for me? She's like, I don't know. I told you and Laura the same thing. I say, if you suck your thumb, maybe you'll swallow your whole arm and you'll live the rest of your life as a snake. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. She's like, it worked for you. And I was like, yeah, it worked really well, Mom. I pay a doctor $100 a month to tell him about my family. It's been working.
I love it that was. It's such an extreme version.
Well,
that
she's
you'll
like, yeah.
then live your, and also just rattled off, and
Yeah.
then you'll live your life as a snake. Do you want to be a snake? I mean, it's just like so. Oh, that's so funny.
I think there's a world where you're both right, where it's like
Yeah.
you do your version of like your mouth is going to change and it's going to be difficult. You may have to have surgery or your jaw could be messed up. And then when that inevitably does not work,
You pull the snake cord?
you pull the snake cord.
Oh, I love that so much. And I'm very excited to talk about that with Alex. I'm sure that he has a lot of things to say about honesty and communication. And we will be right back with Al Madrigal. All right, you heard him at the top of today's show. He's a comedian. First came to fame as a correspondent on The Daily Show. Has gone into acting about 1 billion TV shows and movies. He co-founded the All Things Comedy Podcast Network, and he's got a new podcast right now with a funny man named Jay Larson called The Dust Up. He also co-founded 2 children who are now adults. Please welcome Al Madrigal.
Hey.
Hello.
Great to see you.
Happy to have
Your
you.
daughter's 17.
Yeah, almost 18. yeah.
Almost. Okay. You're like, I'm almost there.
Almost 18, and then I have my son is 21 and a senior in college, so I have 2 seniors.
Does 21 still register the same way it registered for us? Is it still that big a deal for his generation?
It wasn't really a big deal because they got fake IDs from TikTok. And right away, so they all had IDs.
Whoa.
And he had been going into bars since he was like a sophomore in college.
Right.
And
Oh my
so
God.
he was, it's not a big deal.
I had to go to Tijuana and talk to
Yeah.
a one-legged man.
I had to join a sorority where a girl kind of looked like me and was 3 years older.
I had to have my brother-in-law give me his NRA card. So that was my idea.
And that
It was just an
New Jersey,
Everyone was
they're
just
like,
terrified.
just so scared of me.
now, is TikTok telling them how to make them, or are
No,
they
no.
ordering
You
them?
can order through, I think.
They've got it so easy.
And then, I had to go. I grew up in San Francisco, and I went to weird, bars that didn't card. I hopped
Yeah.
through windows. We figured out how to sneak in so many different places. So yeah, and he's got none of that, or never had that. So I don't think turning 21 was not a big deal for him. I did take him and his friends out and taught him how to order drinks properly.
Oh.
So there was it was more of a tutorial. I brought out 5 guys that he grew up with, and we walked in. We did a little Pasadena bar crawl.
Nice.
And I walked into bars and I was like, okay, guys, I'm going to introduce you to 5 different drinks at 5 different bars. And so I said,
this.
I like to go look a bartender in the eye and tell him if I want a vodka soda. I don't say vodka soda, but I will say Kettle One and soda, please, or Tito's and soda with 2 limes.
Tito's is mine.
Tito's and Tito's and soda with 2 limes, and then the bartender oh, this guy knows what he's fucking talking about. Yeah, and it's or bullet bourbon on the rocks. And you're like, oh, okay, all right, well, who's this fucking guy?
And also, that way the bartender doesn't have to ask.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. So you say Buffalo Trace, Need, or whatever, and then he knows you're not fucking around, know?
So you were
some
just
typical
teaching
kid.
them how to order straight liquor.
Properly, yeah. Or bar, again, it's I prefer bottled beer to draft beer. I was talking to them about that because I don't a lot of those places are suspect with their taps and the lines and shit like that. So these are the conversations I'm in, guys.
Yeah.
That's why I was,
whether or not there's bacteria in the tap line. We're worried about bacteria in like a diaper.
Yeah. Hand, foot, and mouth disease. Well, that's why I'm so glad that they're old. Like, I haven't told anybody to eat something or shower for the longest time. I can't even remember the last time I did. But when they're little and they're walking around, like, touching stuff with their hand and putting, like, impetigo, ringworm, hand, foot, and mouth disease.
Yeah.
I married a first-grade teacher, so she was coming home with all kinds of shit from the very beginning. So it was always like Ringworm City and the lice fairy and all that.
And so how is it now that like you're on the verge of
care.
having an empty house?
I don't care.
Is it what I mean? Like now that you and
I've
your
been doing
wife,
my own thing for a long time. Yeah.
it feels like when did it feel like you were able to like I don't know have a life again?
Well, you
Recline.
still worry.
Yeah.
The worry never
Yeah.
goes away. I think people always tell you that. I think also, I mean, I really, and we talked about this a long time ago when I 1st met your wife and daughter at a birthday party
Yeah.
where I suggest sports for LA kids especially because it keeps them off the vape. Right? You're vaping in a matter of no time. I think people in big cities have kids that grow up too quick,
Yeah.
especially in Hollywood, and everyone's trying to outcool each other.
Yeah.
Like, I remember seeing a picture, and I'm sure they're great kids, but I remember seeing a picture of, like, Kate Hudson's kids.
Yeah.
And they're all way cooler than the four of us, like easily combined.
Right,
They're
just one
cooler.
of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
You've got like
one of those-
bracelets, and you're like, you're
Oh,
two.
yeah, 5 bracelets,
Yeah,
and they got the coolest hair, and they're tan because they live at the beach. And,
Yeah.
you know, they're the coolest kids, but it's like too cool. I kind of wanted to raise dorks.
100%.
That's the
And
goal.
then you want dork activities and dork friends. So if you sign your kid up for in Los Angeles for skateboarding,
Yeah,
guess what's going to happen?
everybody does. I know
You
so
want to
many.
tell you
Like,
you want to tell you how that plays out?
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you how
They're
that
gonna
plays
be
out.
under the
not
bridge
good.
at 12 years
Yeah,
old.
yeah.
I know so many toddlers taking skateboarding right now.
No,
Those
no.
parents are idiots. They're idiots.
Like they'll find it if they want it. They'll find it
because all that cool stuff is gonna come to them very
Yeah.
quickly. So all of you, it's so funny. I listened to a bunch of these, and you guys are doing a great job on the show. Show's very fun, and I love all the segments. But it's like. It's everyone's parenting methods.
Yeah.
It's all kind of hilarious. I look at new parents like Attell must look at like the opener in a local city. Like, hey, good luck. How you been doing it? Hey, how long you been doing it? Good for you. Best of luck. You guys are all like, what do I do? Oh, I'm hitting open mics, and I got a theory. I think I'm going to start a TikTok. And I was like, yeah, good for you. Good for you. I wish you the best of luck.
We heard that you prescribed volleyball for Kurt's daughter.
I prescribe. And I will, again,
Yeah.
all my theories. I've watched all of this play out. I see all of your parenting methods become adults. I've seen what your school choices become adults. Like, I see all your hippy-dippy bullshit backfire and you need math tutors because they don't know how to do math in 7th grade. I watched it all play out.
Yeah.
And I definitely, in Los Angeles, to keep them busy, I prescribe not just sports, volleyball, lacrosse, obscure sports, because
That's your thing.
That's what I was talking about. I was
Okay,
like,
good.
no. That's what I was earlier when we were like talking about you coming on. I was saying that you had said like, get them in volleyball. Don't do soccer because everybody fucking does
everyone
soccer.
does
No,
soccer.
I don't want to do soccer. I hate. That's my least favorite sport.
Everyone does. All boys like basketball. Of
course.
My son was a great basketball player. He's
Yeah.
5'9", 5'10" if he's lucky.
Yeah.
And guess who lives here? Every former NBA player.
Yes.
And so it's like you go to
No,
these
he-
high schools and it's just
Totally.
NBA Hall of Famers kids.
But volleyball and lacrosse, the first people to it, if you get to it early at 8 years old, you're all of a sudden on the better teams and you're better. And it is a lot of like, I'm not sure if anybody read Outliers, but like the birthday matters a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah,
develop
yeah.
a skill set at a younger age that people just can't catch up with.
Right.
I highly recommend
Yep,
golf.
I played high
Now,
school golf.
If did you? It's
Yep.
great. Right? And there's so many scholarships available for those. If you have a young lady, I would put her in golf immediately.
Sunny, my wife is 6'2". Sunny's beyond the 100th percentile, and I think she's left-handed. And if she's not, she might be ambidextrous.
Oh
Yep.
my God,
Yeah.
you're sitting on a gold mine, bro.
Yeah. You got some good over there. I want to buy stock in Sunny.
Seriously, what did I say to you? I was like, I'll sponsor her now. You want me to sponsor her now? You want me to give you a little money for
Yeah,
the classes
sure,
and I
yeah,
get a taste when she becomes pro?
Let's do it.
I get a little taste. We're like, I'm in for like 10% and I'll pay for the golf lessons now.
Yeah, let's do golf, volleyball. Volleyball would be good.
Volleyball, she'd crush
Yeah.
on the
'cause
right side.
Volleyball's
Oh my
definitely
God.
popular, but it's more like when girls get a little older because
You
it's
want,
like
you
the
want
outfits are fun.
8 or 9
Yeah.
8 or 9
is
okay.
when you'd
okay.
start.
If
in
she's
any
left-handed
sport.
and she
8
can
or 9
set
is
and
when
be
you.
6 foot
Oh
tall,
my God!
I'm not paying for Stanford.
You're never gonna pay for Stanford. So to circle back to our point, it's like you just want to. I especially think that in Los Angeles, in New York, in like a big city where there's a lot of trouble to get into.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want is a kid ultimately in high school who's on their phone nonstop. Because this is going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's
So we
already.
always-
It's a
we
problem
al-
for me.
We
It's a
always,
problem for me.
Yes, we tied phones to grades.
Yeah.
So everything was about grades.
Yeah.
For us. So if you want a cell phone, guess what? 4.0. 4.0 is going to come in the door, and you'll get one Christmas time. You know when that happens. But yeah, everything is tied to success.
It's a meritocracy. You want it, you do
My
it.
wife to this day pays my daughter for, like, she wants her to get blocks in volleyball. She'll give her $50 a block.
Wow.
I told my son when he beat me in basketball one-on-one that I'd deposit $1,000 into a bank account. And I did.
Wow. Well, how
And
old was he when he?
12.
He was 12.
He was a three-point shooting machine.
So earlier, before you got here, we were talking about honesty and communication, and how we want to decide to how honest do you want to be with your kids when you're trying to kind of like guide them in the right way.
I've always known you, Al, as to be like, you're the advice guy, right? And I
A
feel
lot
like,
of unsolicited advice at my wife. I'm really trying to keep that in check. So now when I wait for people to ask now, but yes.
Here's the thing. I've always appreciated it. Ever since I've known you, you've always been like, oh, you should have 6 things going on at once in your career. You should, in 2006, you were like, move to Eagle Rock. It's the next place to live.
You're
And
right.
like, even after my dad died, you're like, you want to write down your eulogy so you don't shit the bed. And I didn't, and I shit the bed. And but like every time you've given me advice, I have taken it to heart. Like, do you have that same authority over your kids?
I think they do eventually listen. Like, well, it might not be evident right away. Other people are great at giving your kids advice. And so my wife being a teacher, she knows that you can't teach your kids. Mm-hmm. So the same is true for advice. That's why if I ever really want anything to sink in, my mom will say it.
Yeah.
My brothers will say it to them, and then it eventually will get there. But I think all the advice does sink in. With my children, I have said these 2 things since they were toddlers. I want you to try hard, and I want you to be nice.
Yeah.
And those are my
We talk
only
about that.
2 rules.
Yeah.
And I go, if you think about that, you're being nice to yourself, you're not doing drugs, you're not over drinking. We have this big thing with drinking that we've always had. It's like, you booze, you lose. And we always have pointed out drunks. So if wherever I'm like, look at this. You never want to
Look
be
at
the
this
people
loser.
puking at a party. So
Yeah.
my kids have been very responsible with liquor. My kids have always, like, it has sunk in, but you don't see like the immediate results of all the advice with my children.
And
Or
you
your children.
like even listening to you, I'm like, oh God, just like will you call me and tell me what to do? but
It's tricky. It's also a calming voice. You have a deep voice. It's very easy to
Yeah,
take
I'm like,
your
what,
advice.
I'm like, what am I doing that's wrong? Tell me, please.
You want to know what really, really works with everybody? Stop talking to them. So it works with my brother, with my mom. My brother was just giving my mom a hard time because he got other stuff going on. He was just like really, my mom was upset with the way she was spoken to. And I was like, stop fucking talking to him. See what happens. And immediately, like 6 phone calls. I'm sorry. Like, I'm so sorry, Mom. And he's, in his 40s. Yeah. But the same thing works with a teenager. The same thing works with an 8-year-old. Is like, hey, I do everything for you. Do not tolerate bad behavior. And so anytime that somebody is dickish and they're like, I want this, like that, it's like, it's over. I'll shut up. You get everything from me.
Yeah.
And so my wife is brutal, but she did that in her classroom. It's like, you behave well and and live up to your potential. But if you're like distracting the rest of the class and you're a dick and you're rude like that, you have no time for it.
I've tried it with my husband. He loved it.
It doesn't work so great for
He was
spouses.
like,
Spouses
this is the
and
best
no,
day
no,
we've
no.
ever had.
Yeah,
Wait a
he's like,
second.
whoa.
And I'm like, man, I was
I'm on
punishing
timeout.
you.
This is just skipping along.
Do you feel like being married to a teacher, especially an early education teacher, that like that's a little bit of a cheat code? Like you have
Oh, I
someone
knew what
in
I
the
was
house.
doing. That's the other my advice. You think I married her by accident?
She's also beautiful and lovely and
the best.
yeah.
Great cook. But I always say this too. Somebody, I was hanging out. You guys know Fahim Anwar? He's
Yeah,
a very,
yeah.
very funny comic. So we were hanging out, and he goes, "I don't know who said this, but one headshot per household," and everyone goes, "It was Al." Al says that. Al says preaches one headshot per household. as
Only
a
one of
rule.
you. Only one of us has listened to you. I'm not-
So we have this thing called the struggle wand. It's right in front of you, and you can hold it or not hold it. But it's essentially a chance for you to like just talk about something you have been struggling with as a parent, and maybe you have no more struggles, Al. Maybe you have enlightened yourself.
Well, I do think I'm out on the other side of problems
yeah.
because they're fully cooked.
Yeah.
I did what I had to do.
Yeah, they're
I
done.
mean, even if I wanted to change some things, it's too late. I fucked up. They're good. I love both. I mean, obviously, I love my kids, but I really do legitimately love hanging out with both of my kids. And I
Yeah.
feel like it's, I don't know how much they like hanging out with me, but, I'm a big 49er fan. My son goes to school up in the Bay Area. We'll meet at the 49er games and have a great time.
He likes 49ers. He wasn't like, I'm going to pick the Rams to
Oh
fuck
my
with my
God!
dad.
If he did that, I would probably disown him.
No, it's a fear of mine.
This is the
it's a fear.
biggest SF sports fan there is in the world. Is Al Madrigal.
I'm a crazed Bay Area sports fan, and my kids are. My daughter's first words were "Boo Lakers." I swear to you.
What?
My daughter's first words were "Boo Lakers."
Oh, that's so funny.
Anyway,
My daughter's first words were Kobe.
I think the biggest trouble you can run into, and something I did struggle with, but I sort of gave up, I navigated well, is friends. Mm-hmm. All your great parenting in the world can be undone by one shitty friend
Yeah.
that has an older brother that exposed them to something inappropriate. Now that kid is going to expose your kid to it. So
Yeah.
I would beware of kids with older siblings, and especially you do not want your child hanging out with the youngest of like 3.
That was me.
That kid's a fucking problem.
Yep.
Right?
And I wasn't, but I told like so many other kids about puberty.
Yeah.
Like I was like, yeah, and da 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 da.
You know too
and
much.
Yeah.
I told a girl what a hooker was.
Yeah, sure.
And I was good.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I was a good girl, but it was just like, yeah, I got the answers. Come to
Okay, what do you
me.
want to know? I got it all. I learned everything.
No, I hung out with older kids. I was an only child, but I have 7 brothers and sisters from my dad's side. But on my mom's side, it was just me. But I would only hang out with kids 2.5 years older than me. So I started smoking at 10, like smoking
This is what I'm
pot at
talking about.
12.
This is exactly-
Yeah. It was just,
Yeah.
everything was like early and soon. So yeah. So,
I was like, I'm very blessed with really good friends, and I think it has changed the trajectory of my life. But when I was in junior high, I had a friend who had an older brother, a cholo named Walter, and he was a bad dude. And he'd always be like, hey, the Cabbage Patch Kids? They're possessed by the devil, fool.
What?
I think you want to throw them away. I'll throw them away for you. And he'd just like tell me stuff. He's like, the Beastie Boys, they're possessed by the devil. And I talked to him late, like we're adults now, and he's like he's fine now. And I was like, hey, remember when you told me the Beastie Boys were the devil and the Cabbage Patch Kids were the devil? And he's like, man, I was doing heroin. I don't remember
There's
anything.
Walters out there.
Yeah, there's a
that you
lot of
don't want-
Walters.
so you sort of have to navigate those.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
How do you
really
get rid
tricky.
of? But that's the thing. Like, what my worry is, like, what if there's a Walter and they're just best buds, and like you can't like end a child's friendship, like how?
Sure you can.
No, I mean like, but you can't. You physically can't. Like, you can't like keep them closed in a
Do
room.
they drive?
What? Oh,
They don't drive.
I guess once they drive, then you can't control it.
Then you can't control
Okay, so
it.
up until driving.
Up until when they drive, they're not getting there.
They're not getting there. It's like, no,
They're not
Walter can't come out,
scheduled,
and you
no.
can't go, and I'm not going to
And then
drop you off
I
there.
had friends who were only allowed to hang out at my house. Like it was like they can come here, but you're not going to their house, and that's just like
I
the
like
rule.
that idea.
It's also like, I think, again, my parents first. I was the first. I'm the eldest of 3 boys, and they tried to not have me eat sugar, and we knew that was just such a mistake as parents, because you'd go over your cousin's house and you'd eat like 5 bowls of Apple Jacks.
Yeah, talk about heroin.
Your no video game kid is gonna go over somebody's house and have bloody thumbs on their first sleepover.
Yeah.
So it's like, you introduce all of this shit so they can just not be fiends for it. Because as much as you try to like hide all of the, not have them exposed to video games or screens and stuff, you're just creating a maniac.
Yeah.
And, again, the sports, the screens, and you just want a kid that is not going to be ostracized when they go into like the yard, where they gotta know how to handle themselves in the yard, man. Like, yeah, you know what, great. This little. I remember when we organized when they were 5 years old, 6 years old. We organized at Riverside Park over in Los Feliz, sports. So we'd have a guy show up with a bag of kickballs and soccer balls and a football and cones, and he'd come every Friday, and the parents would all hang out. And my son and another kid are there, and we're playing kickball, and I was helping out, and I forget, it was just like, a kid in capri pants and a striped shirt was there with long hair off to the side, and I go, "Hey, it's your time to kick, buddy," like that. And he opened up his hand and he goes, "But I have cheese." And me and my son, still to this day, it's a running joke in our family, "But I have cheese." And so, you want that kid, or do you want a kid that can, again, mix it up?
Yeah.
Anything you do is fine. I'm just telling you, you're going to create problems for somebody if you venture in too far into cool town,
Yeah.
Zombies. That's what we look like.
So we'd like to do one thing at the end of the show, which is put things in timeout. So anything you don't like, anything you want to get rid of, you put in a timeout. We'll all go first, and then you'll go at the end. And all right, anybody, Megan, Chris?
This is just so basic. I got to put laundry in timeout. It's just like we've run out of baskets. Like it's just so much laundry, and mine and his, and like we were both wearing birthday boy shirts last week, and his birthday was in April, but it was like that's all we had clean. So I sent him to school in a birthday boy shirt, and everyone was like, "Happy birthday!" And it's like he's 16 months.
Was it at least on his month anniversary?
Nope, not even close.
I'm going to put parenting while sick on timeout.
Oh, yeah, baby.
It's the worst because I'm the baby. When I'm sick, I'm like the
takes
little
care of you,
baby.
Chris?
Who takes care of me? I'm like, I want my mommy. I just want chicken noodle soup and ginger ale. I want to play fucking Tecmo Bowl.
I want to watch something shitty on TV.
And then sleep and then wake up and not have to change diapers.
Dude, I haven't
and-
done that in so long. I haven't been able to be in bed sick in so long.
I just want to read Sports Illustrated for kids in my PJs. Like when I was a kid, that's all I want. That's all I want.
Sports Illustrated
For kids. SI for kids. SI for kids.
I forgot. I'm so
SI for
sorry.
kids.
They don't have a swimsuit issue. They have a full-length gown issue. I'm gonna put the smell in my car on timeout. And I can't figure out what it is. And my car is disgusting. I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, so my car is disgusting at all times. The day after I get it cleaned, it's disgusting. And recently, Lauren thinks an animal died, or Lauren thinks something shit in the back seat.
You know what you got to do that I
What?
wish I had done?
What?
Is buy one of those pads for dogs. Like
Yes,
if you have
yes.
a dog seat in
yeah,
your back
Like the
seat.
weather tech.
And just,
God.
Yeah.
weather tech your back seat, then put in all their crap, and then go. You want to spill goldfish?
Yeah,
all
go
over the
ahead.
place? Go nuts.
Yeah, we take this out. We'll just put it in the washing machine.
But if somebody spills milk or pukes or something like that, or something up, you're
a
done,
kid
dude.
did something into the floor.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like in the
can't get that
fabric
out.
somehow, and it just smells so bad, and it's such a bummer. It's like you get because especially in LA, you're just gonna be like, you're in it, you're in it, you're
What?
in your car,
And then it bakes in the sun.
and it bakes in the sun.
My
and it's
brother-in-law
so
was a
disgusting.
valet, and there was a guy who was a real jerk to him, and then they took a quart of milk and they soaked it into his back seat.
Yeah.
He was like throwing his keys at him and shit like that. They're like, oh yeah, keep throwing your keys at me and not tipping. Guess what? You got a quart of milk in your carpet.
And you know what? If his
That's
parents had told
awesome.
him to try hard and be nice, that wouldn't have happened.
Al,
Timeout. I'm going to put your anxiety. It took me a long time to figure that out, but anxiety is on timeout because you pass all that stuff on to your kids,
Yeah.
and just everybody chill out. It took me a little. I'm half Mexican, half Sicilian. I run hot, and I have this horrible travel anxiety that it took me a while. When just traveling with my family, when I'm by myself, I'm totally cool.
Oh,
But getting
interesting.
everybody going and locking down the house and freaking out messed me up. So I definitely have exhibited stressed out and psycho behavior in front of my children that now I have a handle on, and I look back and I'm like, oh, I wish I had those moments back. So try really hard to not let them see you be psycho.
try hard to not let them see you be psycho. Because when you're being psycho in the moment, you're like very aware that you're being psycho.
It happens. Just anticipate those moments.
Yeah, that's good.
You know,
That's very good.
I know what moments make me psycho.
Papa, I'll give you $50 if you don't act like a psycho when we go on the trip.
I'll give you. I have 1,000 in my account. Yeah, I'll give you $50 back.
right.
Well, Al, thank you so much for being on the show, man. Anything you want to plug?
Oh yeah, I own a podcast network. It's fantastic. I mean, a lot of great shows. Comedians are making a fortune owning their own stuff. It's wonderful. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. I have a Dust Up coming out. I'm on Lopez versus Lopez, which is great. And yeah.
Well, thank you for being here.
I know we said no advice, but I need more advice from Mal. I think maybe we offline about that. But he's like, I'm watching everybody. I'm like, what am I doing wrong, Al?
Yeah, I mean, that was a dad. We're dads.
Yeah,
that was
That's a dad.
That's
It's
a dad.
just the voice.
Yeah,
it's
he's
just
like-
the voice. He gets it. It gets in there.
What is
Yeah, here's what
It's
you
very
do.
trustworthy voice. I
Yeah.
feel like.
what is he insecure about? Anything?
Hey, Megan,
just
why are
kidding.
you bringing this question up after he's left? I would have loved to have answer that
Well, we
question.
got to have him back then.
Hey, listen, if you want to give your own Circle Time story, you can call us right here at 424-570-KIDS, or you can email us at ilovemykid@wondery.com. For some reason, was like,
.org.
I thought it might be .org.
.gov.
It's definitely not .nz. Okay. And of course, make sure you always start your message with "I love my kid," and then tell us what you want to tell us. And if you do, maybe we'll even use it on the show, just like this one.
Hi, y'all. I really love the show. You don't know how cathartic or how much joy you're giving me.
Oh,
I love my kids, but traveling with a 3-year-old is its own slice of hell,
yeah.
especially when you're alone, like I decided to do.
Ooh.
So I decided to take my toddler to my friend's wedding and leave my baby and husband to chill at home. I thought this was like the perfect idea because that way I can still go to the wedding and I'm not saddling him with 2 kids that are a baby and a toddler.
Nice.
The probably biggest low light of the trip was when he locked himself in the hotel room with the safety lock.
Oh,
And
wow.
I had to coach him through how to let me in, and it was maybe 5 minutes, but it felt like an eternity. Everything was fine. It turned out okay. At one point, the woman running the hotel was calling a contractor so they could break him through the window. Didn't have to do that, but it's gonna be a while till I travel alone with a kid again. Anyway, thanks again for the show. Y'all are great.
Oh, dude, it
Thank
has
you for the
happened
call.
to
Wow.
us. It has happened. Thank you so much for calling in. I get it. It has happened to us. Happened to Lauren. The door closed, and it was, I think, Olive. She's going to be mad that I'm not getting the exact details of this. Oh, I think it was Gus by himself in the hotel room, and the key was inside, and the fucking bath was running. And it was like, so
That
it
is-
was like a sprint down to the front desk to get a new key to sprint back up. Just terrifying. Because it happens really quickly if you have adjoining rooms. That's how it happens. If you have adjoining rooms, because then someone from the other side you can walk out on the other side and the door can close. And then that room all of a sudden is like nobody can access anything from it. And so it was very terrifying.
When I was listening to the caller, I'm like, you should have taken the baby. Babies can't close
Yeah.
doors. Like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
You got to take one of them, take the baby next time.
I was
But
like, saddle that guy up. You go
Yeah.
have a good time by yourself at that wedding. You leave Dad
A
out.
3-year-old take a 3-year-old to a wedding? That sounds brutal.
But the thing is that if it's a baby that you have to wake up multiple times during the
that's
night
Yeah.
for,
I
don't want
they
that
did the-
baby.
She
You
made
know?
the right call.
All
I
right.
think she made the right call.
but also I can see in your mind being like, oh, this is the best way to do this.
yeah, of course.
Of course you think that, right? Because then you're like, oh, well, look at the best of both worlds.
Kind of a lose-lose.
Yeah. Just don't have fun until they're 5. Well,
I'm
thank you
glad
for
everything's
calling.
okay.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding. Terrifying. Anybody want to do some plugs?
Yeah, I have new stand-up dates.
Yes.
I'm going to be in Seattle at Laughs Comedy Club on
Hey.
December 1st and 2nd.
I'm going to be in Brooklyn on November 13th and Philly on December 8th and 9th. So come on out. You can find all my information at kurtcomedy.com. That's Kurt with a K, comedy with a C.
I want to plug my first podcast that I ever did, Scattered. I talk a lot about my parents on this podcast, and it's kind of this beautiful story of their lives. And if you want to hear another kind of more of a sincere take on my parents' lives, which I'm very proud of, listen to Scattered. And follow me on Instagram at Chris Garcia Comedy.
And thank you guys for listening. I'm Kurt Brownohler.
I'm Megan Gailey.
And I'm Chris Garcia. And remember, your kids are going to eventually resent you no matter what you do.
So many